Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to handle user events, but before we get to that I need to tell you a quick story because it is kind of embarrassing and I just feel like I need to tell someone. So I was just doing laundry a few seconds ago, and whenever I do my laundry I take it and I dump it out on my bed just because, I don't know, it's like the right height so I don't have to like crouch over or anything. So I take all my clean laundry and I dumped it on my bed, and then I took the empty laundry basket and I just put it on my head like I'm wearing some weird helmet, or I don't know. Why I did that, no idea. I just do weird things when I'm alone. So I just have this laundry basket on my head and I'm looking out the front window. And then I look out my side window and my neighbor who was shoveling her porch, she stopped shoveling and then we were just like looking at each other for a second, and I have a laundry basket on my head. So yeah, that was pretty awkward, and she probably thinks I'm really weird now if she didn't already, but that was pretty embarrassing. Anyways, I'm just gonna pretend that that never happened. Let's go ahead and continue with the tutorial. So again, what I want to teach you guys how to do is handle user events. In other words, whenever they click this button, we want to perform some kind of action so the program's actually interactive and it's just not a bunch of buttons that they can look at and not, interact with at all. So anytime that we want to actually handle these events, we need to implement an interface called event handler. Now for event handler, there are a bunch of different types of events. For example, there's a button click, and there are mouse events, like whenever the user moves their mouse around. There's also touch events for touch devices whenever they touch a screen, but of a simple button click is just an action event. So that's the kind we're going to be talking about in this tutorial. So again, I'm gonna show you guys the method just a second, but for right now, actually let me show you the method right now. Now underneath start, if you hit Alt Insert and then choose Implement Methods, there's one method that we need to implement and it's called handle. So just go ahead and click that. Now handle, of course, is the method that's going to be called whenever the user clicks the button. So again, whenever they click the button, that is called an event. They did something. How do you want to handle it? Well, you write your code right here. Do you want to print out a line of text? Do you want to open up another window? What do you want to do? So that's essentially how this program is going to work. Now before we just jump into handling it, we need to set one other method on your button. So on button, you need to call set on action. And we're just going to pass in this, and all this says is whenever they click this button, the code to handle this is in this class. So you can actually make a whole nother class and just pretty much just for like handling events, but since this is a real quick tutorial, I'm just gonna throw my method in the same class. So this is essentially all this is saying. Whenever you are trying to handle the button click, just look in this class for the handle method and you'll find it. Simple enough. So now of course we know whenever they click the button, this method gets called. So inside this method, what we can do is this. Now remember, this is a generic method and it gets called whenever an event occurs. But say that we had 10 different buttons. Well, if we just write, okay, print out a line of text, we don't want every single button click to do the same exact thing. So it's always useful to find the source, and that way it identifies pretty much the source or which button or which object caused this code to occur. So that way if you have 10 different buttons, it can identify the different buttons. That's all it does. So we're just going to check, okay, if the source of this event was equal to this button, which is the only button that we have on the screen, then what do you want to do? Well, we can just put system out print line, and what are we going to print whenever they click the button? Just put, ooh, I love it when you touch me there. Alright, looking good. So looking sweet. So again, one more time, what's going to happen if I run this? You guys are going to see And again, I'm going to click it, and it's just going to print it out right here. Usually, you don't really want to mix GUI applications with console, little text messages, because, I don't know, that's the whole point of GUI applications. So you don't have to run this crap right here, but for demonstrating, it'll be fine. So again, one last time, anytime you want to handle user events, you need to implement this interface, and then whenever an event happens, such as a button click, this method gets called. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, what caused this method to be called? What was the source? Oh, it was this button, so they must have clicked it, and whenever they clicked it, which is just the action event, I'm going to print out this line of code. And if we have another button, then we can just put an else if, or if the source of that equals button 2, then we'll just say like you clicked button 2. And it's giving us an error because we don't actually have a button 2, but that's how you would handle different buttons. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna think about how awkward I am and putting laundry baskets on my head. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, my source code is going to be on GitHub, link below. Anyways, I'll see you later.